Bill Bryant and Rebecca Smith, only on WKYT This Morning. Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 4.
It was a gorgeous start to the work week for most of us, but we actually have a few showers showing up across parts of eastern Kentucky. We'll track those and the changes in the forecast coming up.
UK police are still investigating why shots were fired from an airsoft pellet gun here on campus and who is responsible.
Lexington police also had a busy weekend investigating a series of shootings in which 4 people were shot. Welcome to WKYT News at 4. I'm Jennifer Palumbo. It's a beautiful day in the bluegrass, but some places are seeing rain this afternoon. Meteorologist Jim Caldwell joins us now with a look at the forecast. Jim?
It has been pretty nice out there. A lot of sunshine, some clouds also drifting in and out of the skies because we still have some energy out there that's firing off some of those showers we're tracking across parts of eastern Kentucky. But if you look outside here in Lexington, it is just fantastic. You do see the cloud cover, though, off in the distance there. Again, not a big deal because we are seeing more sunshine than anything else. As we look at the rest of the evening, around 75 degrees by 7 o'clock with those sun and clouds still in the area. Nice night for you, around 69 at 9 o'clock and only at 66 by 11 with mostly clear skies. That's going to be the difference for us tonight. We'll see the skies clear a little bit more, which will actually allow our temperatures to dip more so into probably the mid 50s. We've been hanging out in the upper 50s, low 60s, so a little bit cooler, but again, not bad. Those showers that we're talking about, you go along the Mountain Parkway there in Magoffin County and also right around Campton. Seeing some of those showers and even out into far eastern parts of Kentucky. Johnson, Floyd County getting in on some of that action. A few more of these might try to develop as we progress through the rest of the evening, but generally a quiet and nice one before the big time changes come. I'll talk about those coming up for you here in just a few minutes.
This afternoon, we're learning more about a report of gunfire that caused a lot of concern on the University of Kentucky campus last night. Now UK football coach Mark Stoops says he's looking into whether one of his players might have been involved. Police hope these surveillance photos will help them find the person who fired shots outside the Kerwin-Blanding Residence Hall complex around 9:30 last night. Police found an airsoft pellet gun nearby. Now they want to question the people in these photos. Jerica Insko is live on UK's campus with our top story at 4. Jerica?
That's right. UK police are still investigating after they got reports of shots being fired here on UK's campus last night. Now they're still searching for who is responsible, and that has left some UK students on edge. Now UK police had a news conference this morning giving us more details about what happened. They say the shots were fired from an airsoft pellet gun near the Kerwin-Blanding complex where several dorms are located. Students reported hearing those shots. Now the pellet gun that UK police say was used was found nearby behind a dorm really early this morning. Surveillance photos are helping police track down this group of about 6 people they say are persons of interest following this incident. For now, police aren't sure if they are UK students.
We're treating it very seriously. I mean, any type of incident like this is a concern to us. We value the safety of all our community on campus as well as surrounding community, so we want to make sure that we find out what the full intentions of these individuals were.
One person in a surveillance photo is wearing a T-shirt that resembles a special T-shirt only given to UK football players. Coach Mark Stoops says he is aware and is gathering information on that. And once again, no arrests have been made following this incident. You'll hear a brief comment from Coach Mark Stoops coming up at 5. For now, we are live on UK's campus. Jerica Insko, WKYT.
And again, UK police want to question the people shown in the surveillance photos. At this point, they're not considered suspects, only considered persons of interest. The shots fired on campus was the 7th shooting incident in Lexington over the weekend. In the other cases, 4 people were hit by gunfire. Friday night, a man shot on Bainbridge Court was critically injured. 2 hours later, another man was shot on Charles Avenue. Then early Sunday, police say someone shot a man on Old Georgetown Street. Sunday morning, about 15 shots were fired at the Genesis Center on Georgetown Road, hitting several cars and sending one person to the hospital. So far, no arrests have been made. Lexington police give us an update coming up on WKYT News at 5 and 6. Big Blue Madness is October 17th, and the Big Blue Nation is already gearing up for another event. The Blue-White Scrimmage is Monday, October 27th at Rupp. Tickets are now available at Ticketmaster.com or at the Rupp Arena box office. They went on sale this morning. Seats are $10 for lower level, $5 for upper. UK students can pick up 2 free Eruption Zone tickets while they last. We're working on a number of other stories for WKYT starting at 4:30. Sam Dick is in the newsroom with a look at some of the news in progress. Good afternoon, Sam.
Good afternoon, Jennifer. A Lexington family lucky to have escaped an overnight house fire. It happened about 3 this morning on Vale Drive off Harrodsburg Road. Firefighters focused on the second floor and in the attic putting out the fire. Firefighters say they're still not sure how it started, but that the home is not safe to live in now. Coming up on WKYT News at 4:30, you'll hear from a neighbor who describes the scene. Fire swept through a city block in downtown Williamsburg late last night. The fire started at a flower shop at the corner of Main and 2nd Streets. At least one business was gutted by the fire, but the crews say it could have been a lot worse. Coming up on WKYT News at 5:30, you'll hear from the owner of the flower shop, who says they will continue business from a new location. That's a look at some of the news in progress. Jennifer, back to you.
Thanks, Sam. Now, a story is making headlines across the nation at 4. Police say the investigation of a missing University of Virginia student has turned up a lead in the 2009 disappearance and death of another woman. Jesse Matthew is charged in the disappearance of 18-year-old Hannah Graham. Police say his arrest provided a forensic link to pursue in the case of Morgan Harrington, a 20-year-old woman who disappeared while attending a concert at the university 5 years ago. Her remains were later found. The U.S. carried out more airstrikes on ISIS targets in Syria today as America tries to weaken the Sunni militant group. President Obama talked with 60 Minutes about the situation in Syria and Iraq and admitted mistakes have been made. Craig Boswell has more from the White House.
U.S.-led coalition forces targeted ISIS-controlled areas inside Syria Monday. President Obama said on 60 Minutes the U.S. didn't immediately see the Sunni militant group was gathering strength.
Our head of the intelligence community, Jim Clapper, has acknowledged that I think they underestimated what had been taking place in Syria.
President Obama told Steve Croft ISIS became stronger during Syria's 2-year civil war. The president says this is not America against ISIS, that the U.S. is leading the international community to try to stop the terrorists from taking more innocent lives.
There is a cancer that has grown for too long that suggests that it is acceptable to kill innocent people.
The president is taking heat from both sides of the aisle. Democrats are generally resistant to getting into another conflict, while Republicans say the president didn't act fast enough. Congressman Paul Ryan told CBS this morning President Obama ignored his own advisors who wanted to arm Syrian rebels when the civil war in that country first began.
Those of us who were getting the same intelligence briefings in those days agreed with Petraeus, agreed with Clinton, and didn't agree with President Obama.
While the president has stopped short of committing boots on the ground, Republican leaders say ground troops may be necessary to stop ISIS. Craig Boswell, CBS News, the White House.
The U.S. military says today's strikes hit ISIS vehicles near a grain storage facility in Syria. It says there's no evidence of civilian casualties. The head of the Federal Aviation Administration says he's ordered a review of the agency's security protocols and how it deals with unexpected incidents like last week's fire at a Chicago area air traffic facility that disrupted air travel nationwide. The fire brought flights at the city's 2 busy airports to a halt and affected air service all across the country. Authorities say it was set by a contract employee who also tried to commit suicide. The FAA administrator says service at O'Hare Airport is back to 60% of normal. Midway Airport is operating at 75%. Today is National Coffee Day, coming up on WKYT News at 4, where you can get an afternoon pick-me-up for free.
Follow WKYT online at WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
We're tracking a breaking news alert right now out of Madison County. The Richmond Fire Department is working a large fire at a hotel. The fire department tells us the fire is at the County Hearth and Inn off the Eastern Bypass, and they're working to get it under control. Emergency crews are asking people to avoid the area at this time. We have a crew on the way to Richmond, and we'll bring you more information on this hotel fire as we get it. Now to Wall Street, starting the week off with all three major indexes in the red. The Dow lost 42 points to close today at 17,071. The Nasdaq fell 6 points, and the S&P 500 lost 5. Economists are seeing steady growth, but they remain mixed on their outlook for different segments of the U.S. economy. A new survey by the National Association for Business Economics says investments by businesses and government, as well as international trade activity, will grow at a faster rate than previously forecast. Those surveyed also expect the pace of economic growth to steady in the third and fourth quarters of this year and throughout next year. Analysts say consumers are now paying record high ATM charges, but there are ways to get cash and avoid those penalties. Danielle Nottingham has details.
James Epps drives all over Los Angeles in his food truck, but he couldn't go just anywhere to get cash. Epps was paying $3 or $4 to use another bank's ATM, and the fees didn't stop there.
My bank would tack on, $1 to $2 depending on, which bank I would use.
A new survey says customers like Epps are paying 5% more this year to use other banks' ATMs. Fees have risen 23% over the last 5 years. The average cost, $4.35 per transaction, an all-time high.
It's low-hanging fruit in terms of generating additional fee income. Banks aren't worried about alienating non-customers.
The practice of spending cash to get cash isn't going away, but you don't have to be stuck with the fees if you plan ahead. One good way is to use your bank's website or mobile app to locate a nearby ATM. Some banks will even reimburse you for any fees charged outside of the network.
If you're really in a pinch for cash, you can always get cash back at the point of sale when using your debit card. That's tantamount to a free withdrawal.
Epps says he now only uses banks with branches around the city, so he can stop paying ATM fees and put every penny into his business. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Phoenix has the highest average ATM fees at $4.96. Cincinnati has the lowest of the cities surveyed at $3.75. Banks say a majority of customers are avoiding ATM fees because of internet tools and mobile apps. Today is National Coffee Day. It's pretty much one big marketing event, but it means you can get your caffeine kick free of charge. Dunkin' Donuts, Krispy Kreme, and McDonald's are all pouring out free cups of coffee to celebrate.
It's all about the horse this week. Kickoff to Keeneland, all kinds of horse shows going on. I'm Deanne Stevens out and about at Windswept Farm today.
And as we go trotting toward Keeneland this weekend, it could be a little on the cool side. Some big changes are coming our way. I'll break those down for you coming up.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Jim Caldwell and First Alert Defender.
Quite a bit of sunshine showing up out there across central and eastern Kentucky, but we do have our fair share of some cloud cover as well. Temperatures running in the low mid-80s at many spots throughout our entire area. There you see some of those views, Richmond, Frankfort, London, even here in Lexington with some of the clouds off in the distance as well. That's been the theme of the day so far. Out in eastern Kentucky, a little bit different here in the past couple of hours. A few showers have actually developed along the Mountain Parkway, now getting into parts of Floyd and Johnson County. So just about out of our area completely, but still tracking some of the heavier rainfall associated with those right along the Floyd and Johnson County line. There you see some of the other clouds that have been drifting through the skies, a lot of them for pure decoration, nothing more. Most of the energy and where we'll find more chances of showers will likely happen out in southern or eastern Kentucky here over the next few hours. That's going to be the primary spot to see some activity. We look to the north, there you see a frontal boundary hanging out. It's going to push toward us as we work our way through the rest of the evening, end of the day tomorrow. It might even clip northeastern parts of Kentucky before it starts to check back up in the form of a warm front, which will allow a lot of the warmer air to pour right back into our area. And there's plenty of showers along this, nothing strong or even severe. The next big system that comes into play for later on this week, it might have more of a bite to it. Not only with the significantly cooler temperatures that will be associated with it, but we might even fire off maybe a stronger storm or two. Certainly a possibility. Right now, as we go hour by hour, though, you see those shower chances start to decrease. Temperatures by 11 o'clock running in the upper 50s, low 60s, a very pleasant evening for you. Overnight tonight, with the skies a little clearer than they have been, especially over the weekend, we stayed pretty mild, upper 50s, low 60s throughout the early morning hours. But tonight, we could likely dip into the mid 50s, and maybe in some of those sheltered valleys a little bit cooler, maybe even the low 50s for some of those areas. As we look at your day tomorrow, there you see highs again in the upper 70s, close to 80 degrees, and a little batch of precipitation. That's that frontal boundary starting to interact in northeastern parts of Kentucky. It could fire off a shower or two, at least a few clouds out of it at best. Again, not a big deal at all expected out of that system. It's the one that follows it in for Thursday, Friday, and exits here on Saturday. That's where you're going to find some issues. Next 3 days, generally fine. We're in the upper 70s, low 80s, I think, at least somewhere throughout the entire area the next few days. A little on the windy side on Thursday as that front starts to roll right on in. Then you see the crashing temperatures. We're down to 69 because of the rain and the wind there on Friday. Then on Saturday, how about a 62-degree reading? And that might be, Jennifer, a little optimistic. Some of the data tries to suggest 50s for daytime highs. So we're going to keep it a little bit warmer than that, but still it'll be windy, nasty, cool as they get things going over at Keeneland too.
Yeah, and that's going to be a cold kickoff for the night game of UK and South Carolina.
Oh, that will have a bite. That's going to have a true fall feel to it, yeah.
Well, the stage is set for a big week surrounding what Kentucky is best known for, the horse.
And our Deanne Stevens is out and about with a little more. Hi, Deanne.
Good afternoon, guys, from the beautiful Windswept Farm here in Nicholasville, Kentucky, where I am riding, what is this, a champion horse here, Stephanie? What is this horse, Nina?
Nina is a...
She's a superstar, I hear.
Yeah, she's one of our top lesson horses, and she's going to compete on Saturday with a couple of adults and kids at the Kentucky Fall Classic Horse Show, and she's one of our number one Academy horses.
Well, and you're on a superstar too, I understand.
Yes, this is Champion Tipitina. She has taken numerous riders into the show ring and won for them. And she's currently a lesson horse now, but she does a little bit of double duty.
Okay, well, obviously we're no Pat Day, we're no Patty Cooksey, Calvin Burrell, none of those guys, but we can learn to ride horses at any age here in Kentucky.
Absolutely. We start kids before their 3rd birthday and then do adults and people that have ridden before or never even seen a horse up close.
And you guys offer that, and I noticed because you said, have you ridden, you know, are you comfortable around a horse? It's good to get comfortable around such beautiful creatures.
When you live in central Kentucky, this is what it's all about.
All right, and what I loved about you is you said that you grew up in New York and you ended up in Kentucky here, now living on this beautiful farm, and you also teach, you instruct with the UK equestrian team.
Yes, I coach the intercollegiate saddle seat team for UK, and we actually are hosting a horse show here October 11th on the farm here with about 5 other schools.
Okay, so what do you suggest to parents who are interested in getting their children into horseback riding?
Bring them out, let them try it, see if they like being around the horses and how they feel riding. We've got a website, wingsweptfarm.com, and a Facebook page where you can get more information.
Okay, and coming up at 4:50, we have a young lady who's actually participating in the horse show on Wednesday, kicking things off at the Kentucky Horse Park for Alltech Arena. We'll be joined by her, and I understand she's got some fancy little tricks. She's a good rider.
Oh yeah, she's a real good rider. She shows as a 9-year-old, and she just moved up to walk, trot, canter. She's going to ride her practice horse for us, but she shows her show horse on Thursday at the 2 o'clock session.
Looking forward to that. That's coming up at 4:50. I'm Deanne Stevens, out and about at Windswept Farm. Back to you guys.
What a beautiful day to be out there on a horse.
It's absolutely perfect, so enjoy that while you can.
Yes.
Because like I said, it's changing.
Got a few more chances.
Yeah.
Well, federal safety regulators are looking into complaints that certain Toyotas can surge unexpectedly, even when the driver is pressing the brake. We'll tell you what models in Better Living. And you may be able to use your phone in flight, but there's a catch. That's next on WKYT News at 4. It's time for Better Living, health, education, and consumer news that impacts your life. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is looking into a petition claiming older Toyota Corollas can accelerate unexpectedly at low speeds, causing crashes. The investigation covers about 1.69 million cars from 2006 to 2010 model years. In a letter to the agency, a driver said that a Corolla surged at low speeds several times and the brakes failed to stop the car. The NTSB will decide whether to open a formal investigation. BlackBerry's new smartphone is a hit. The company says it received more than 200,000 orders for its new Passport phone just a few days after it was announced. The Square phone is already sold out of its initial supply on the BlackBerry website and Amazon. Passengers flying on European carriers may soon be able to use their phones and electronics anytime they want during a flight. That's thanks to newly issued European aviation guidelines. However, airlines will first need to certify their aircraft transmission signals will not be impacted. Researchers say children who are active for at least 60 minutes a day after school show positive results. The University of Illinois study looked at more than 200 children ages 7 to 9 and took brain scans before and after the test. Doctors say children who took part in moderate to vigorous physical activity saw marked improvements in their ability to pay attention and avoid distraction. For more health, education, and consumer news, go to WKYT.com and click on Better Living. Now let's head over to Jim, and it's a nice afternoon.
Oh, it is super out there, and it's going to hold on for at least a couple more days. You'll be able to enjoy more weather like this before we turn more like fall toward the end of the week and into the weekend. Tracking a few showers out in eastern Kentucky, very hit and miss type of activity showing up out there for those folks. As we progress through the next little bit, we'll hold on to the clouds and maybe even a stray shower out east, but generally on the pleasant side. We look ahead to 11 o'clock, mostly clear skies, everything clearing out quite nicely for us during the overnight hours. You might see a few thin clouds, but other than that, looks very nice. Tomorrow, we'll max out close to 80 degrees yet again, which is where we are today, low and mid 80s across most of central and eastern Kentucky. Now, here's a look at what's coming up at 4:30.